Take a Seat Gaming is one of the oldest gaming communities in the scene. We don't have a big ego about it. We're just better than you. You're now listening to the Take a Seat Tidbits Podcast, featuring different hosts and leaders every episode.
All right, welcome to the Take a Seat Tidbits Podcast. I'm your host, TSB Lady May.
And I'm your host, King Warthog.
And this episode, we are joined by the Webops Upper Leadership. Why don't we go through and the three of you introduce yourselves, what your role is, and what you do in Webops. Let's start with Patty.
Oh, hello. My name's TSB Paddy. I'm one of the TSB admins, and I mainly focus on the global server, as well as the social departments, as well as Discord School.
So I'm TSB Red. I'm also a TSB admin. I focus on Webops as a whole, and some Discord maintenance if needed.
All right. So I'm Core. I've been on a couple of episodes before. I'm a senior web director in TSB. I've been around for a couple of years now. I am the senior web director. We have 2 open web director positions beneath me. Right beneath that is going to be the admin position, which are Patty and Red's positions. From there, we have management positions, department heads, and just kind of so on and so forth. But yeah.
Perfect. I find it quite often that some people, generally new people, but that consists of a lot of TSB at the moment, don't exactly know what WebOps is or what a lot of the departments are. So do any of you want to go through and sort of explain exactly what WebOps is?
Yeah, so Webops is designed to help boost morale in the community through member recognition, events, and content. It's the joint efforts of TSB members to put TSB out in the world, as well as bring our members closer together. So obviously we have 3 kind of sections of TSB. Webops, I like to call us the face of TSB. So we have like the social media teams. We do the graphic design. We have the podcast, obviously, YouTube, TikTok. We also do a lot of basically like free work for our members. We do make the free profile pictures. We do the free montage requests. So there's a lot of things that we do, and we do it just because we love TSB so much, or we have a skill that we love to use. Like we don't, I don't really know where I was headed with that, but yeah. Patty, Red, what do you guys say?
Any department that you have really in TSB, other than really, obviously the joining department, folks is strictly run through Webops. So anything pretty much separate than the joining department in ClanOps somehow is ran or organized by the Webops department. So the graphic area, which a lot of our members do use, is one of the most popular departments we have, because obviously everyone wants artwork. But a lot of people don't actually realize that that's not a global run server. It's actually run through Webops, which I think could lead to why, certain members don't actually know what Webops is. But we are actually working on pushing Webops a lot more, especially as recently we moved the Webops applications all to the Webops server. That way people are in the server before they even apply to join a department, where they can see a lot more information regarding us. I don't know if Red has anything else, because he's been here a lot longer than I have.
No, you guys covered it both really well. Usually people know some Webops as being announced of events that we've hosted. Famous one being like Jackbox's Core's Murder Mystery Night, TSP Idol, most big social events or streams, TSP posted streams and all that has been kind of in the WebOps.
That was very abrupt.
Yeah. I think it's very interesting that outside of TSP, basically in other communities, our WebOps is really well known just for like you listed, the events we host and just kind of what we do to make sure that TSP represented. So it's so interesting to me that within TSP, because we're all kind of in our own bubble pushing out, that we don't really and we're kind of working on it, getting more connected with the members that aren't in WebOps.
Yeah, it's definitely
That's
built
cool.
around being a face for people on the outside to see kind of what we are, but I know that not a lot of members look at it and know what it is exactly.
Yeah, I had a quick question. One thing that y'all were saying is that it seems like one of the things y'all are trying to do here is bring a lot of people that are in TSP that don't really associate to, bring the masses together so that we can all mingle as one. Are there any other things that you're trying to accomplish with WebOps as far as I think you mentioned getting the TSP name out there in the world for more people to see that we're a thing that they can join?
Yeah.
Me-
Go ahead.
I was just saying, we have meetings all the time between us three. There's loads of things we want to do to progress. One thing, especially regarding events, like Red has mentioned, events is such a fun aspect of TSP, especially when we bring the whole community together. But we really want to bring in more to our events team, to where we advertise it on our socials and on the podcast even, and then people are coming in to join TSP just for the events, or we could work alongside other communities within Hydra to then have events for everyone to join. But as well as that, with all the departments we have so many goals on where we want to see everything, and social media is obviously the best advertisement tool. So we're just trying to kind of get all our departments advertised on social media, and some of the game plans we do have for the future. We need to just work on building up the teams we have and getting more of a structure in place regarding how we're going to do it. But we have loads of ideas. I'm sure Core has more as well. Sorry for interrupting you then.
No, that was perfect.
And you mentioned your teams and that you're using for this entire process. How do you go about looking for new members of the team to kind of recruit in to become part of the brain trust that you have building this?
I'm gonna let Red talk of this because we just literally revamped a department around this. So I'm gonna let Red talk about that.
Well, before we used to just make an announcement, word of mouth too, of hey, you may be interested in joining the Instagram team, for example, of a team based around Instagram. So, but now there's been a revamped department called the Outreach Department that's going to be spreading WebOps information into ClanOps, so there's a better communication between both places. So say events, looking for new members that love hosting events, love doing movie nights. The outreach team would, talk about it in their, meetings, division meetings, maybe just to their friends, in their divisions. Just that's kind of the point of outreach team for the recruitment process.
It's really cool. It's you're coming up with you're having to come up with a plan, come up with a team that comes up with even more plans to get people in here. It's I really like the thought process that goes into that. Y'all seem really passionate about it too. Is this something y'all been having in the works for a long time?
Yes, it is. We had the outreach department was brought around pretty much when I first joined TSB, which was nearly a year ago. However, it sat quite idle for a while because we didn't we knew what the incentive was, but we didn't really know how to execute it. However, recently with the promotions we've been having and how we've got a lot more department heads and leaders, Red obviously decided to look into the outreach department again, came up with a whole new game plan, because Webops has always been something where we have had to rely on either people knowing who we are or, putting out announcements, or, let's say I've got a friend in a division who's on the GFX team, asking them to see if anyone else wants to learn just to recruit for your department. So now that we have this in place, and it has been something we've looked into, it's our way of going out there and recruiting in. But like you said, like Red said, going out and also getting ideas from the teams and finding out how we can do better. They're kind of like a good, not just a recruiter, but the voice of the people in our teams as well, because it's quite hard sometimes to get everyone's opinion. But yeah, I think in general it's a good idea.
Yeah, it sounds like y'all got a lot of ideas coming from a lot of different angles.
We've not even had outreach for a week, and there are like 5 applications for podcast already. Like,
Nice. I do know that whenever I first joined TSB, there was talk of it, and it was always something that everyone wanted to they were interested in getting involved, but there wasn't a whole lot of information going about. And then all of a sudden, boom, it was like an explosion of information that everyone got. And all of a sudden, everyone's talking about it. Everyone's like, oh, hey, we want to get involved in this. And everyone's getting different messages from everyone. It was a really cool process watching it all kind of happen.
Yeah, we it was a shock to us as well. Like even Red in our chat was like, oh my God, first day, and we've already got double digits when it comes to people wanting to help us out. And it's just the people we have in Webops are amazing, because all of it's, we don't ask for it, they don't ask for much from us, and they're willing to help us out as much as they can. And some of the people we have who have recently joined TSB and are in quite a few departments, we just respect them so much. And the outreach department is mainly, when it first became a thing, was mainly recruiting in people in other departments. So like department heads such as Lady May and people like Ace Legend from the stream team and stuff like that. And now that obviously we've got people, like you said, people who aren't in any other departments contacting Red and being like, yo, I want to join, is crazy to all of us, because we haven't even got a application form for the department yet. So the fact that we've already got all this is crazy. So we are the amount of recognition it's already got and the amount of people that want to join the team.
And just to kind of feed off of that, so the outreach has been a department that's kind of just been lingering, like Patty said, for a while, and we weren't really sure on how to execute it. So whenever I joined TSB, I joined Webops I joined the social media team, and I had joined at basically the right time where there was really no leadership or anything. So I moved up pretty quickly, and it was a lot of trial and error. It was a lot of me like, this is the first community I've ever been in, the only community I've ever been in. It was a lot of me just trying things out and figuring things out. And it's like, this works and this doesn't work. And I do take pride on that. If somebody brings the idea to us, to me, Patty or Red, we are very open to it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But we're very open-minded and trying out giving new department ideas and things like that.
I feel like in the terms of Webops, you really can't have a great function without having that open mind, just because it's such an artistic thing, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. One of the recent departments we brought in is the tech support department. It never crossed any of our minds that we wanted to bring it in. However, one of the BGs from, I think it was VC, came to us and was like, hey, me and my mate, we do quite a lot of technical stuff, and we were wondering if it's possible to get a department around it. And, it was just an idea to begin with that a member of the community brought to us. And then now it's a full-blown department running its own way. We've got a head and a leader for it. And it's the ideas like that, like Cor mentioned, we take them all into consideration and we think about it. And one thing that we all say is you won't know if it will fail if you don't just do it. We'd rather you fail later than never give it a go. So the fact that it's done good makes kind of all of us feel happy that it's worked, but also makes the members feel happy that we're taking in their opinions and their suggestions. And, because it's the TSB as a whole, Webops, ClanOps, all of it, it's for the members. So we want to take in all the, suggestions and feedback we can get.
Yeah. kind of seeing the fruition of a lot of hard work coming into play.
I'm curious, since I have you all here. What got you all into WebOps in the first place?
Sorry,
I
everyone.
have never been a clan ops person. I could probably list the ranks, but I've never been involved in clan ops. I've never had really any interest in it. It really came down to, I was talking to Terracode one day and he was saying that he's like, like our social media presence just isn't like where it should be. And I have a history with like social media management. I was like, I can come in and help you get like your team sorted and everything and kind of get everything set up. And that was like 3.5 years ago. And here I am. So that's kind of how I ended up here.
I guess I'll go next. Sorry, Red. But yeah, so when I joined TSB, I had no plan of going into WebOps. However, within like a week of me being here, I applied for the GFX team. I've previously been a part of WebOps departments in other communities as well. So I had like slight experience there as well as experience in ClanOps. And then over time, I moved up regarding the GFX team. I was helping out with the global server as a mod, and then also helping out with the news team. And then due to real life situation, I couldn't do like the ClanOps stuff, being division staff. So I transferred over to WebOps and then helped to make all our new division servers that we have. And then after that, Core was like, we're going to put you in Red as TSB admin. So that's how I got here. So yeah, but I'll leave it to Red now.
Oh man, I'd say like practically the start of TSB. After a month or so, I joined like the events team and just started off with that because I loved hosting events. Enjoying bringing people together. And then after that, I became the leader with going forward. Try my hardest with every team, like with news team and graphics, which is the community manager is the one that goes over those three departments. Having fun learning every team, how they worked, and then like started going forward to get to TSB admin. Pretty much how my origin story started.
That's cool. It sounds like y'all had kind of a little bit of history, but never really planned on it.
Yeah, sorry, just to add to what you just said, I never planned. So when I joined TSB, it was just because my friend joined, and I said to myself, I'll never do gaming communities again. And then when I was joining, yeah, it did. And then when I was joining, I was in a group chat with Forsaken and Terracode because I had to get permission from another clan leader to join. And Terracode was like, we got to get him on the GFX team. And I was like, no. Funny enough, here we are now. So yeah, it's weird how it's all come together because I never knew Red or Core before all this. However, over time, we've kind of worked together and worked on improving WebOps. And now, I'd say we're friends. So yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
Why'd you say friends like that, Pat?
I think he put the quotes around it.
I think he had a question mark, guys. He doesn't fully know yet.
Something that is curious, that strikes my curiosity. TSB is the one and only gaming community that I've ever been a part of. I know a lot of people that have been parts of other communities. And Patty, I think you said that you had done similar stuff like this in other communities. My question is, like, what's the difference that you see in TSB from the other ones that you've been a part of?
Oh, it's really the departments we have and the structure as well. In the other communities I've been in, the structure's been very different, where you have like your team leader or your team head, and then straight after that you've got your senior web director. There wasn't really much structure between the departments and the head of WebOps. However, what I like the most about TSB, which is different to other communities I've been in, is we're not afraid to try something new. TSB, as far as I'm aware, is the first community to introduce a tech support team, podcast team as well. Normally podcasts are done by the upper leadership of a community, whereas we have a team here where we're involving our members Obviously, there are the traditional teams like graphics team and the mod team, as well as the events and stuff like that. But the fact that we're not afraid to go out on a whim and try something new, even if it doesn't succeed, makes it a lot better, because you're all on like the edge of your seat. Like, is it going to work? Are we going to do it? And it's nice for me as well, because like I said, I've got experience in these other departments like GFX and mod team and stuff. But being able to witness like a tech support department or how a podcast is working, I'm learning even with the experience I've got. So that's what I like the most, and that's the biggest difference I see.
Yeah, structure really goes a long way whenever you're trying to build something like this.
And I think it reflects it really well in the community as well, just with the amount of activity you see and the amount of interest you see, because we're willing to branch out and do that.
Another thing that strikes a little bit of my curiosity, we have a bunch of different departments inside Webops, like graphics and Twitter and Instagram and news team and outreach, all of it, even us in the podcast. I guess going down the list, which one would you say is each of yours like favorite, or which one did you put the most work into, or maybe you would suggest other people kind of check
I'm
out?
about to call outreach his baby.
Yeah, I already know.
Guys, come on. I can't say that every 5 seconds, guys. Like, come on. I would, but I can't say that.
Dang.
Outreach seems to be really important.
I think any department that you put the hours into does mean a lot to you, especially when, for me, it would be the GFX team. When I joined, it was totally different to what it is now. Obviously, from an outside perspective, it looks exactly the same, the way it's structured in global and all stuff like that. But a lot of internal work was done regarding building up the team, managing the requests we get. Because there were times where we had like 20 to 30 requests in the channel, but we didn't have enough time to get to them because of the structure we had regarding that. However, it's got a lot better now. The work, obviously, that myself and Sir Rat and Core and Red have all put into this department. So I always consider it to be my baby, and everyone knows that. And even the head of the department at the moment, Havoc, even though I'm not over the community teams like Red is, I still say to him, like, don't fuck it up. That's my thing. And he knows that. So that's good.
And so much. Guys, every time I deal with Buddy. Personally, like, how to describe this? With everything going on, I would say like my first team, events team, like I put so much time, like Patty said, everything is about time and how much you like actually care for it. Because I really think of Webops as like a place where you're supposed to enjoy yourself. In events team, I enjoyed hosting events, enjoyed meeting new people, I enjoyed like talking to new people. Like it was all this like social gathering time, just all in like one team, and I love that. That's why events has like just a special place in my heart.
So whenever I joined TSP, I believe we had 3 departments. We had the Twitter team, we had productions, and then we had graphics. And graphics has always been Unicorn's baby. So whenever he was on military LOA, it kind of got transitioned over into my responsibility. And then thankfully we had Patty come in because I'm so bad at graphics. But I kind of every department, they weren't all my ideas, obviously, or anything like that, but I had a role in kind of setting them up and creating them for the most part. But I would say that events, obviously, the TSP Twitter team and the podcast teams are the ones that I put probably the most work into developing. And so it's amazing to me that like a year and a half ago, we didn't have like an active podcast team. And it was actually me and an old member named Wolfpack that put in a bunch of work into kind of getting it all set up and creating it. And once I stepped away from it, you guys have taken over it and just kind of kept it going and consistently. So I think that's really awesome. And I'm really proud of it.
Hey.
You're like, oh my God, stop it.
Oh my God. Yeah, you're flattering me.
Has it been difficult? Like I see that there's a Hydra Twitter. has it been difficult orchestrating between 3 different communities to get certain things going?
Not really. Not as hard as you would think it is. Basically, and if you look at the Hydra Twitter, most of the things are, because it is ran by TSP members. But we have like active communication if they want things posted or not. It's just social media management is kind of like complex in that sense, to where it has to be to post something. Yeah, there has to be active communication, and then trends on social media change so quickly. So you have to kind of be on social media all the time to kind of see things and go with the flow on that. But I think TSB does a really good job of their social media teams. That's why we have like 30 of them right now. So I've never had any problem with us taking on the responsibilities of that, because it's just when you see a strength and you see, when I was looking through the applications, I saw we had a lot of people who were good applicants waiting to join the TSB Twitter team. So I was like, what could I do to kind of do something, add something to it? The Hydra Twitter was a good way for us to do that.
I know some people find the bar of an application quite intimidating. So what would you give as like a good piece of advice to someone who might be interested in applying for Webops but doesn't quite know if they should take that step or not?
Just do it. Literally, just do it. Everyone here is so chill. All the department heads that we have, and all the leaders, and all the managers, all of us. We're here, we're chill, and each department has a different form of structure when it comes to their recruiting. I'm very different to Red. I prefer to just read the application, send them a message, and get them in. Some people, like Red, prefer to sit down, have an interview, go through certain aspects. But we've actually changed, like I mentioned earlier, we changed the way the application process works now. It used to be on like a Google form and look all serious and as if you're applying for a job. Whereas now we've changed it to where it's done through a Discord bot called Appy, which I worked alongside Rewind XDG on kind of figuring out how it worked. And it kind of makes the application process very lax now when it comes to just filling out the information, because the bot will just send you a message and be like, hey, do you want to apply? Yes. And it will ask you the questions and send the response over to the department. And it's a lot easier for us to manage that way, but it's also not as intimidating on the members, like you mentioned, because they haven't got the Google form there and you have to answer this message and all stuff like that, because it's just done through a direct message on Discord.
I feel like we've talked a lot about how like open-minded we are to like new ideas, but that is one thing that I did not want to change. I never wanted to remove the application process, and I never wanted to remove the references, because just like I said, trial and error. When I joined, I had that, and I cannot tell you the amount of messages I got. And I've actually said this on this podcast before. People messaging me, asking me how to fill out an application or what a reference is and why is that important, and just like life skills that I was like, these are things that I could be. I know it's like it's an extra step in the process, but I'm helping these people learn like how to properly fill out an application, which for the most part, if you fill out an application, we don't really deny a lot of members. And typically there's a reason, or they're just a better fit for a different department or things like that. But just kind of helping them, okay, like the importance of, like, even on all the application, I say like low effort applications will be ignored, and just, how important it is to be making those contacts and those knowing that you can find a reference. So if you need somebody for like a job application, or for like, for example, like for grad school, I had to have 3 letters of recommendation. And I was like, oh gosh, like thankfully I'd made those connections with professors and like old bosses and things like that. But that's something that as you move through life, you need to be kind of keeping track of, like, hey, like I'm building a good relationship with you. Like, can I get a letter of recommendation, or can I use you as a reference in a future job application? So that's another thing, is just kind of teaching those life lessons. And that was a really hard one for me to remove, but it just kind of became more of a hassle than it was helpful.
Red.
How to describe this? Like Patty described how the application process is. It's like, going through like interview to interview is like, I like meeting new people, like I described before. So like trying to meet new members, understand exactly what they're trying to do in the teams. Like Core described too, like there's some people that aren't fit for every team. That's just how things are, and they're actually just fit for a different team. Like, I feel like everyone has like this set of skills, and that's why it's like the application process in my head should be a like closer connection, so everyone can at least get to know each other, like heads to leaders, leaders to members, like all the process, because everyone has to work together.
Definitely. And I know for that reason I like to sit down and meet most of podcast members before they get into actually recording or doing anything. Would you ever like say someone comes in through an application and you think they're fit for another team? Do you express that to them?
It depends on the team. Like in the mod team, I have it now to where we only have like 2 mods from each aspect of TSP, whether it's a division, casual member, security, or anything like that. And if I have to deny someone or put them on hold, which I normally do, is I'll normally say to them like, hey, I can't accept your application at the moment because I have enough mods from your division. However, when someone, let's say something happens, you're on the list and we will get through to you. We have had it before where people have filled out the wrong application and they've like applied for the production team when in reality they want to be on the podcast team or something like that. And normally you just contact them and you go, hey, I think you applied for the wrong one. Do you want to join the podcast or the production? And you can normally tell through the answers they give. But in that case, we'll just redirect them to the right application or get in contact with the head of the department. But like Core mentioned, we don't really decline a lot of applications at all. Since we've brought in this whole API system, the only ones that have actually been declined are from me, from the mod team. But that's, like I mentioned, that's only because they're on hold. So I'm not just going to leave the application there.
Yeah.
So we do pretty good on accepting people. And like you did earlier with the podcast team, your coordinators, you had enough. However, rather than just deny people, you edited the way your system works to be able to include everyone, which is what we want to achieve with TSB, because we don't want, if people are willing to help, let's let them help. We don't want to just push someone
I don't want
away.
to turn anyone away.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we love.
Yeah, it can be fun.
Especially seeing that
It can be
Webops is
enjoyable.
growing as much as it is. Like, my point of changing it is because I feel like at some point we can create more consistency and branch out to other projects.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm sure it's not a really enjoyable moment whenever you have to like turn people away from, anything like that. But, with being in the higher ups of like the leadership of Webops and stuff, and even a higher ranking whenever it comes to the rest of the community, like in your role, what are some of the more enjoyable, like what's one of your favorite aspects of your role inside Webops?
I love it when people like come to me with new ideas, or people are obviously like super motivated and like they like are like, oh, I want to do this, this, and this with my department. And I love that. I love when people like love what they're doing and you can see that they love what they're doing. So I try to find that in every department that we have. So
I think mine would be mentoring people. With the recent Discord school department that we've kind of been working on, obviously, and the mod team, a lot of, I'm currently mentoring one of our mods on Discord management and stuff like that, and being able to kind of that bridge between leadership and actual member within Webops is great, because people aren't afraid to just contact us, and because they know we're chill, we know they'll help them or we'll give them advice, and it's not like we turn anyone away. And it's nice. I like that, because people will come to me with just general questions and they'll be like, hey, how do I actually do this? Or, hey, can you help me with this? And I'm happy to do it. And I know we all are, but that's my favorite aspect, is being able to help people on like a one-to-one basis without there being that fear of, oh, he's a TSB admin, I better, not say certain things, because, that's not something that we want our members to worry about.
All right.
I would say like the enjoyment of members is like my favorite thing to like see as like a leader, is like seeing like someone like enjoy like their full heart on the team, like because like I feel like every team is a passion thing mostly, Like seeing someone like go full out on streaming, doing everything they can on the stream team. You know, someone like having an event that has like 20 people and everyone's just having fun. Like seeing people just talk in chat, just all happy, like trying to help each other. Like that type of like everyone enjoying the motivation. Just seeing that makes me just be so happy being up here. Like, oh, I helped a little with this. That's really nice to. It's a really nice feeling.
Yeah.
I definitely know graphics had to say like their favorite thing was when people come in knowing absolutely nothing. The fact that we have the resources to teach them as well. And I feel like that applies for almost every department we have.
Yeah, definitely. Graphics has always had a sort of student program. However, when I first joined it, there had to be like at least a little bit of knowledge there. However, over time, we kind of just started taking anyone on because, like we mentioned earlier, if people are wanting to help, that's great. I first learned graphics through a Webops department in another community, and now look, I would say I'm all right at it, and we help people not just regarding that. We've got the Discord school, which is obviously helping people with Discord, but all the departments we have, at some point on the application, we always ask about experience. And obviously it's something as a department head that you would read just to make sure that they have some. However, at the same point, all of the heads we have and all the leaders are happy to train people. And I think that's just great as well, because it's not just a gaming community at that point. We're giving people knowledge and helping people achieve their dreams as well. Because it could even be something like, oh, I really want to learn how to stream. We've got a stream team with the leaders and staff members who are happy to sit there and help you become better at streaming by just knowing the tips and tricks regarding bringing more audience. And it's not just obviously, yes, graphics has a student role, but all the departments are willing to help everyone. And that just kind of puts a really good image for TSB, and it's the image we want. So,
Yeah. What are some of the resources y'all have used just to help y'all with building these ideas?
we don't really use resources really. It's just the communication that we have. Obviously regarding Discord stuff, we both, me and Red, have a test server that we test out like bots and stuff in. However, regarding like a new idea, we talk about it, we discuss it, and it can be in discussion for a week or two before anything happens. But once we come down with an actual plan, that's when we implement it. Like I mentioned earlier, we're always happy to risk it, because at the end of the day, if a department doesn't work, it doesn't work, But if you don't give it a go, then you never know. So resources-wise, it's just the communication that we have.
If you don't give it a go, you'll never know.
Do you think a lot of the success that you're seeing in your ideas come from it being such like a custom idea where y'all are coming up with the ideas fresh from your mind, getting brain trust together and talking about it? Do you think that's where most of your success is coming from, because it's original ideas?
Honestly,
No, you go ahead, Red. Go ahead.
Honestly, like I would say that's a little bit of it. Like we obviously love trying new ideas, and it always like we have to try them. We don't, we're just gonna like, if we don't, we're gonna feel like we're gonna have to try them later. But yeah, but most of like the success I would say from like Webops has been like full on like the TSP members themselves. Like every department is like based around like something to do with like the members themselves, So I like all the department success is like also contributed to how like successful TSP is as a whole. That's how I like view it.
Yeah, Red, I agree with 100% everything Red just said. The department heads and all that are great on managing the teams and getting everything sorted. However, in reality, it's the members we have on those teams that have made Webops become what it has. The original ideas aspect definitely helps, because there's some members in TSB who might be here right now who would really enjoy a certain department one day, but they're too afraid to say anything now. But then one day we might have an idea around that, and then they join, and then the members like the members we have that join these departments are the reason we're doing so good, because it's not us three and the head and the leader going out making the GFX doing all the work ourselves. It's the members of the community who are happy to put in, hours of their days and weeks to just help a community that they enjoy gaming with. And without them, we wouldn't be where we are. So it's all down to them.
I did have one more question. That last thing you said where the success comes from like the hard work of like the members and stuff. Is there any department or any one individual that you'd like to maybe shout out for like overperforming and like kind of going above and beyond in certain areas that Webops needed them to?
Yeah. TSB Punk. They recently joined TSB, so they haven't even been here that long. They're in MI division, and they're a part of the mod team. They're a part of the events team, the podcast team, and now they're in outreach. And it's just crazy because it's not like they're just sitting there doing nothing. They're putting effort in all the time to help the departments we're in. Whenever I need support with the mod team, Punk is there. And obviously all the members do great work, but regarding how recently she joined the community and how much effort she's putting in, she definitely deserves a shout out, because we even we discussed her at our last meeting that we had together, because it's rare that you have someone come in with such like full force to want to help a community. So yeah, she deserves a shout out for real.
Shout out to Punk. She also recently got promoted to major.
Exactly. She is crazy. Okay. She does so much. She reminds me of a young Paddy. Okay.
All right, who is Red gonna say?
Core is a mentor, and all my success is thanks for her. Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm blushing.
You're such a brown nose,
Yeah.
bro. Like, honestly.
Patty, don't be rude.
Rude.
Bro, Patty was literally being a brown noser to the anyone who listens to this podcast in the beginning too. Like,
Yeah.
he was literally sitting here going, "Does my mic sound good enough?"
Yeah. 20 times.
Yes.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna leave this alone now. Core, who's your favorite member?
Well, my favorite member, other than myself, I'm totally kidding. I would definitely say you guys, Patty and
Aw.
Red,
Oh,
and
wow.
you.
Wow.
I'm the only one that took this
Man.
seriously. That's all I'm saying.
It's getting thick in here. Patty, I appreciate your answer.
Yeah, it's
I
all right.
have since I joined, and I had a little issue when I first joined with micromanaging. I couldn't figure out where the line was, like, and when you could just let people have their own ideas. I am much better at it now, but now it's crazy, like, looking from that and me being like, I wouldn't even take an LOA. I wouldn't do anything because I just thought the whole world was gonna like fall apart, to me having like some IRL stuff happening and not being really around for a couple months as much as I should be. And Patty and Red just like, I completely trusted their decision making and any choices that they made while I was gone. And I've never really experienced that with somebody who wasn't a director before. So the fact that I have two people that I was not only able to trust and leave like kind of running Webops for me, but to come back and it be so active and just like them constantly like working so well together. So I'm very proud of them, and yeah, I would say that they're probably my favorites right now.
I'm not paying you whatever Red is paying you, okay? I just want to put that out
Obviously,
there.
Red would come above Patty. Patty's just
Wow.
Wow.
There's some favoritism over here. I guess we'll know when Red gets a promotion next first.
It's because I'm British, okay? That's what it is. It's just
100%.
yeah.
British.
Every time.
Yeah. But no, as much as we're shouting people out, like, it is everyone. Obviously, some people do put the extra effort in, but everyone we have puts so much more than they need to, even if it's 1 GFX a month. That's an hour of their day that they didn't have to put in. So we appreciate everyone, except for Red.
All right, fellas. Well, I'm out of no more questions. We appreciate your time today. We know that y'all are super busy with so many different with so many different strings pulling you in different directions. We appreciate your time to sit down with us and kind of chat about what's going on here in Webops.
Patty just wants to get back to Minecraft.
Yeah, I'm not. I am. I know. I'm still on Minecraft. Okay, I'm just
I
fishing.
never left,
Okay,
guys.
I am never off this game. But thank you anyway. Thank you. We do appreciate it, and thank you to you two as well for hosting this podcast and listening to us talk
Oh, yeah.
for a long time. Normally people leave around half an hour in, but thank you.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like listening to you guys talk.
Yeah, we're in here for the long haul, I guess, is what they say.
All right. Well, thank you to everyone who tunes in to this episode. Yeah.
Where can they see these episodes at?
Well, if they're listening to it, then
Then they
Then they
found it. I
found
guess
it,
that makes
but-
that makes a lot of
Spotify
sense.
and YouTube.
Sorry, that was
I guess for my own. Cool. This was the Take a Seat Tidbits Podcast. We hope everyone out there listening has a great day. And always grab a chair and take a seat.